Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. This is Pop Talks. This is episode 2. We're featuring someone who's been around for a very long time, either as a player, as a caster, as a community figure, as a streamer. You know them, probably love them. You've seen them play in tournaments if you've been around, in the history of the game. His name is Stevenator. Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just got back from BCX like yesterday, catching up on school. It's rough,
Nice. Did
but it
you
was worth it.
did you miss a lot of school for BCX?
I missed 3 days.
You
I missed
missed
4 days for Shine. I've already
what?
missed like 10 days this year.
How
I
did you?
can't go to any lands now.
Wait. But BCX was like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday type of thing, and Shine too was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. How did you miss 4 days for
So
Shine and 3 days for BCX?
Shine. We wanted to enjoy Boston, so we left on Wednesday and like toured Boston for like Wednesday, Thursday, and then obviously did the tournament during the tournament days,
Right.
and then left on Monday. And then for BCX, we did like a similar thing, except I think it's pretty reasonable. We left on Thursday day,
Okay.
which I mean, I suppose I could have gone to school for like half of that day, but we left on Thursday and then, so I missed Thursday, Friday, and then we left to go back on Monday because obviously you don't want to miss Sunday night.
Damn, dude.
So yeah, it's like 3 days of school minimum for lands. It's rough.
That's crazy, man. I never even thought about that. And I guess it makes sense. I don't know what I probably would have, because I'm a teacher, so like I'm on the other side of it. I probably would have flown out on Friday or like Thursday night. I would have left, done an overnight flight, and been like, Thursday, let's go, coffee, bring it on.
Yeah,
Um, but no, definitely, I feel like
full competition.
yeah, you have a definitely a much nicer approach to the whole LAN experience. Cool. And your flight back? I'm assuming you flew, right?
Yeah, I flew back like Monday morning. So I mean, I get back at like 1 o'clock, and I don't want to show up for like the last 3 periods of my class of my school day. So I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Cool. So, BCX, how was that for you?
I mean, it was fun. I didn't. I did exactly. So like, I went into BCX saying I'm okay with 27th or 25th or whatever the lowest placing that I can get is, and like I'm ready for that. But like you go prepared to get like the worst placing, but it always hurts anyways. So I feel like I could have done better. I took a game off Multimum. That's the only game I
Nice.
took all tourney in ones because I didn't have to play through waterfalls. God bless. Waterfalls were ridiculous. I liked watching a lot. Like the actual competition was really fun to watch.
Yeah. What do
Uh,
you think about I kind of want to touch this quickly. What do you think about, because I on Friday was one of the only days that I really got to watch BCX, and I as a viewer I was like, there's 3 streams and they are nonstop. That's amazing. What do you
I
think
mean,
about that?
they had the other two streams, but to be honest, like the highest the secondary streams ever got to is like 50 viewers. So I mean, no one aside from like the hardcore dedicated people who wanted to see all the matches they possibly could would be watching all 3 streams. That's usually what I do for Smash tournaments when they have like 4 streams. I just have all the tabs open.
Yeah.
I switch in between them all the time. But I never actually got a match on main stage, which I was sad about. I got a few on Bifuteki.
Oh shoot, I missed you then. I was keeping an
It
eye. I was
was
like,
twos.
it was twos. Okay, I didn't get to watch too many of the twos, unfortunately. Um, I did the similar thing. I have 3 monitors, and I had one stream up on each monitor, and I was
I
just
saw that. I saw that tweet.
I was kind of just chilling. I was like, this is what has to happen. Um, but yeah, that's pretty cool. How did you do with twos?
Twos. We made it. We went like 4-0 in our placement pool and made it to Division One, and then we waited for a long time. And then in our actual division pool, we lost to Manser and Enya, who like are actually really good, and I knew that they
They
were gonna
showed
be
up.
really good. Uh, and then after that, we could have won our next 2 matches, but there was like a weird bug on the setup, and we had to troubleshoot for like 2 hours. And then when we actually played our match, the bug screwed us over, so we got out
Oh
of the
man,
tournament, and then we were held tilted.
I saw you tweet about that. What was the bug?
It was input drops. I think someone's
Oh,
mouse. I'm not gonna. throw his name out there, but I think a certain player's mouse might have caused input drops.
Hmm.
But the weird thing was, it would have had to have been something where like once you connect the mouse to the setup, it instantly has input drops, like regardless of whatever you do after that. Because we tested without any mice. We tested individually taking out one keyboard at a time. We tested using 4 ASIO keyboards, all the same, on the setup, on 5 different setups, and nothing would stop the input drop. So eventually we just played with it and then we lost. And we were
Dude,
angry.
that's rough. I mean, that's I can see how
There's
that would
nothing
be
either
frustrating.
side can do. There's nothing we can do, and there was nothing BMG could do to fix it.
Oh man, that's awful. That's really bad. Um, but then I'm assuming that the rest of the experience of the land was positive.
Yeah, I mean, as always, I went out to like KBBQ with the guys. Went out to Hot Pot, which Hot Pot is amazing, and I love Hot
Pot
Pot.
is great.
Uh, and I just hung out at the venue for most of the time. Like I said, watching the matches, like there were some freaking emotional
Oh
matches near the
god.
end of Waterfall and stuff, like Egg Soup versus Effie. It was a rematch of last year's top 8, and it determined who made it in and who didn't. And then I was like, what was the other one that I was thinking of? It was like
Daiku.
Tybo versus Atrophius. Pretty sure like
That was a good
that
game.
was an impactful match, even though it didn't end up meaning anything because like there was some upset on the other side of the bracket, and even though Atrophius went 5-2, he didn't end up making it through.
Dude, that's rough. That's
What the?
really really rough. But yeah, there was the for me the Daiku and Effie game, the 1v1. That was kind of the pinnacle. I was watching that and I was losing my
Yeah,
shit a little bit. That game
it,
was
it was like
so
rough to
tense.
watch.
Yeah.
You couldn't even root for a certain person because you wanted both to win. You don't want either of
Yeah.
those people to not be in top 8.
No, it kind of hurt to watch. And then what was it? The twos with Addy and Cake, the grand finals.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I felt so bad for Addy because you gotta realize something that I noticed is that Addy is literally the EU parallel to me from last year. Second place at BCX2s after a Game 10 series. Val players recognized as the best gauntlets in their region at the time. It's rough, dude.
it's
And
rough.
like the roughest part about it was in that 1v1 during game 5 of the first set. He went for a downlight chase dodge recovery, which is like the hardest kill combo in the game. I swear to God, on gauntlets, and I whiffed it and lost tournament sets because of it so many times. And I just felt so bad.
Yeah,
I felt so bad because I know it's hard to land that in any situation, let alone like a high pressure situation. And God, I just felt so bad.
man. Dude, it was tense. They were great sets, but like you're right. I definitely was unashamedly rooting for the EU dream.
I think they're like, if you just watch some of their team combos, I think Boomy and Remy are like better players. I don't think many people would dispute that.
No.
Well, I mean, Addy did get twos or second in 1v1s, but
Yeah.
like, I think on that particular day in twos, Boomy and Remy were playing better individually, but Addy and Cake's combos
Oh
were
my
so good
goodness.
that it was able to keep them completely neck and neck with Boomy and Remy.
For real. And
Like,
I'm
something about two's grand finals at BCX. History was repeating itself. The reset, the game 10. Like I went over to LDZ in the middle of the set and I was like, "You getting flashbacks yet?"
no, and then El Dizzy wins again a second time. It's two-time world champion.
I feel like he like sandbagged the entire season and then just came back and won. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll just take your guys' money again, and I
Well,
don't care."
it's funny you say that because I was thinking back to kind of circa into the season to
He didn't even sandbag. It's
like
like when I my first reaction was like he sandbagged the entire season and then just came back and won. But then I'm like, he got first place in 2 of the seasonal championships. The only one that he didn't is the one where I took him out.
right.
And he wasn't even able to go to lands, so it's not like he sandbagged the lands. He literally just wasn't able to go. So he like won most of the tourneys that he entered in that he needed to win during the season. But I guess somehow he just flew under the radar
I
and
I,
then
I guess
he showed everyone you
if
shouldn't.
if you don't go to lands, right? I guess it does put you under the radar, but you're right. I totally underestimated LZ for the circuit. I was like,
And then
dude's
Noel
washed.
ended
Like,
up
what's gonna happen?
Noel
But
ended up at
no.
like 13th.
Yeah. Holy crap. Dude, it was like on Saturday I was working all day and I was just keeping an eye on the brackets, and occasionally I'd look and be like, what? That's just crazy, man.
Yeah, Phazon popped off. Phazon's my boy. Gauntlets. I was just so happy watching Addy do it with Gauntlets and watching Phazon do it with Gauntlets. I'm like, at long last, we've discovered a way to make them tournament consistent. And
For
I'm gonna
real.
like steal a lot of the stuff that they did.
Well, yeah, dude. There were never before have I watched a tournament where I've been like, wow, like I don't even like it's made me feel like such a baby in like how I play. Like watching all basically top eight, 2v2, 1v1, I was like, these people are freaking ballerinas. Like they're
Yeah,
gymnasts.
I didn't even understand. Like when I watched like Boomy or LDZ or one of them play, like I didn't understand, and I knew going into the tournament that I didn't really understand dashing too well. But they like mixed up whether they were chase dodging or dashing so effectively, and I just had no idea what was going on. Like the movement options is the real thing that gets me when I watch this kind of matches.
Yeah, it's that's I think with Dash, it's the movement for me that's the most exciting thing. Just because the way they just like it's back and forth and the positioning is so I don't know. I feel
Yeah,
it's so fluid.
it's so much more like a traditional fighting game now.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I would completely agree with that. I kind of want to segue that into you've been around for how long? How long have you been playing Brawlhalla now?
Since Soteros was released on the day after I started playing, back when I literally didn't even understand what a patch was, I didn't even recognize that he was like a character added to the game. And I think when I looked back at when exactly that patch came through, it was like April 4th,
Oh,
2015. So it's been over 2 years, like two and a half.
2.5 years. That's crazy.
And I've
Uh,
been competing like pretty much since the very beginning.
in that nearly 3 years, what's your favorite change or addition or favorite thing that they've done that they've added to the game?
Hmm. I mean, like, it would be a cop out to say like adding gauntlets because I really like gauntlets. But like, I think gravity canceling is such an underrated thing that we really didn't discover. Like, we didn't discover wake ups till like a year or even longer after they added gravity canceling. But when you think of like just the concept of gravity canceling and the fact that they like thought of that and tested that and made sure it worked in the game, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like, who would imagine using grounded moves in the air and that it would actually make such a cool impact? And it created like some of the coolest combos. Uh, my favorite, like that honestly might be my favorite feature that they added, just because like I think I hated it at the time. Like at the time that they were posing adding it in, I was like, this is gonna ruin the game. I felt the same way about chain dodge actually, which I mean I was kind of right on that one because chain dodge eventually ruined the game.
It did.
But I mean when it was first released, I liked it. So like over time, I learned to trust BMG on the stuff that they want to add to their game, because like another thing that they added was making throws not hit stack. That I was like, my playstyle's ruined. It's not gonna work anymore. Why would they do this? But then like after the fact, you realize, why did we allow throws to hit stacked?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's
There's just like there's so much stuff that BMG changed that at the time I thought was horrible, but like it in retrospect, it was insanely good for the game.
oh my goodness. I mean, I haven't been around as long as you. I've been around since 2 years now. November 2015 is when I started. So it's like, 2 years, like past
Mhm.
that point. I didn't even like, you were talking about gravity cancels. I didn't even think, because they were in the game when I started the playing, I think.
Dude, on that note, then it's so
Like,
weird to me when I think of the fact that there was a time when you would start charging a signature as you fell off the edge and it would just instantly trigger.
wait, what?
Did you know that? If you used to walk, like if you used to effectively do like the motion that you would do for a slide charge, it would instantly activate the signature when you fell off stage.
What?
Because slide charging was
That's
a tech that they
awful.
had to add. When Foda discovered some like weird way to do it with Lucian down sync guitars, they were like, why don't we let people do that all the time? And so I think that was the
Wait, that's
first
so
tech that was
cool.
added. Like when I joined
That's
the slide charting.
freaking awesome. That's super cool. I didn't even like. Damn, dude, that's awesome. Um,
Dude, some players nowadays are probably like, yeah, the first tech BMG ever added was chain dodging, and I'm like,
isn't
come
it
on,
isn't it weird? There are players who weren't playing the game even before Dash, who you could show them like pre-Dash Brawlhalla, and they would be like, "What is this garbage?"
dude. The most triggering thing about new players is that like there are people who like you could say, I don't even know if you're on this train. I don't
I
even
don't
know if
know.
you're this old, but like there are
Yeah,
people who you'd say what bow to, and they'd be like, the bow that's in the game, like the one that Ember has. There was a time when bow was merely an imagination, an idea, a meme that no one ever thought would be added to the game.
I was in before Bo. I think I was in
And
before
like
Bo.
now it's just a normal thing. Now bow's just a weapon in the game, but there was a time when bow was unimaginable to ever be added.
Yeah, I mean, but I it's like there's I feel like it's 6 months. It's like at 6 months for a weapon is introduced, 6 months pass, and then you're like, okay, this weapon's kind of like okay, normal now. But then after about a year, then I feel like that's when the weapon hits the like, this is a standard, like it's an old school weapon now. It's been around for a year. Um,
Like axe is
Axe,
definitely an old school weapon to me. Bow is like there. Gauntlets I still think are like almost to the point where you can say like they're an old school weapon or like they've been around for a while. We pretty much know a lot of the things you can do with them.
right? Scythe
But
though,
jeez.
I don't.
Yeah,
Scythe still
Scythe
feels
is
new to me.
yeah. I think it's like with the active input stuff, like
Yeah,
Scythe will take a while to be like fully incorporated into my mind as being a weapon.
right.
I
Uh,
still haven't really touched Scythe.
Dude, it scares me. I don't have the patience to like, string anything like that together. It's crazy. Um, so then, the favorite thing in the game is gravity cancels, which I actually is like a super awesome like secret answer that like awesome. What about your least favorite change in the game? The thing the BMG devs did where you were like, "What are you thinking? That's garbage."
So meme answer, complete meme answer
Go for it.
is when they removed zero to death unarmed combos because that was the end of the Stevenator unarmed combo, and that made it so I no longer had a combo named after me.
All right.
The real answer though, worst thing they ever added.
It's tough.
The worst thing they ever added
sorry, sorry, Scythe people. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
is either Jala, because I just hate the design of the character. I think
Really?
Jala is a real ugly character, and she stole Roy's up smash from Melee.
Okay.
Or Cat Burglar Asuri, which is the worst skin in the game and the only skin I've ever refunded in Brawlhalla. Go
Hold
check
on.
it out right now. It's horrible.
Yeah,
It's actually.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
pull this
Google a
up on
picture of it.
stream and show everyone. Because this is important. This is important.
It's so bad. I don't understand. It's such a bad skin.
Hey Google, can I type in you please? Okay, well. Okay, all right. I can dig that. For me, if I had to think about it, and I think it's the right change. Oh, it's that skin.
It's horrible. It's
Oh
actually just.
man.
I bought it on the day that Asuri was released and refunded it that same day.
There you go. Take a gander at that, folks. Cat Burglar Assyria right there. I mean, those eyes.
It's just that bad.
And you know what? I'm gonna. The quote is literally no. I don't like the guitars. Actually, I don't like the guitars. Huh.
Yeah, the guitars are ugly. Like there are so many better guitars. The sword is kind of yuck as well. It's like there are so many better swords in the game. I'd rather use the freaking bendy sword that you can buy from the store for 60 mammoth coins solo than use that sword.
Oh man.
Just a horrible skin. I hate it.
I love this because some people in chat are like, no, it's a good skin. It's a good skin.
No, he said it's not that bad. He's not saying it's a good skin. If anyone were to say it's a good skin, you legitimately have a terrible taste in skins. It's just so bad.
Oh man. So a little while ago, uh, our dude, our man, Foda, he tweeted this, and by a little while ago, I mean this was a while ago. He tweeted this thing and says, "Man, Stevenator 546 is a beast at melee." Um,
That was at Combo Breaker. He tweeted that at Combo Breaker.
there you go. It's combo breaker, and I kind of want to set that up to ask like, what are the games that you play outside of Brawlhalla?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I don't really play it too much anymore. Aside from there's actually a lunch table at my school who brings a CRT and a Wii and plays Melee at lunch. I just go there and whoop them all the time.
Where do you go to school?
Illinois, dude. Illinois, dude.
What?
I don't know, but I just go there and whoop them like every day in Melee. And the reason that Foda said that is because I played him a bunch of Combo Breaker, and even though it was like his second week playing, he still like was pretty close to me because he learns games really fast. But I like Melee because I played Melee before Brawlhalla. Little side note, I watched the Smash documentary and all that. And then naturally, the first step after watching the Smash documentary is to go play Super Smash Bros. Brawl competitively. And so that's what I did. And I went to my first Brawl tourney, first and last Brawl tourney at a local arcade, and then saw Melee there and instantly decided I wanted to play Melee instead. And so I played Melee. I've been to like weekly tournaments, and me and my friends hosted like not
Nice.
tournaments outside to the public, but just within our own little group. And I won a few of those, and then eventually one of my friends, who's now actually like power ranked in Chicago, he overtook me, and so I found Brawlhalla and quit Melee like competitively. Aside from that, I'm taking like a somewhat break from Brawlhalla to play League right now
Nice.
because I like League. I've played it since like season 1, and a lot of my friends still play League, and I'm gonna try to like play on a team. And I just really like team games. I like the element of coordination. Like when everything really clicks, it feels so good, so much better than in a 1v1 game. I think
Yeah,
because it's really everyone's succeeding together, and I like problem solving like with multiple people together and watching replays with everyone. And
yeah. Nice.
aside from that, back when I was like 8, I played a crap ton of Minecraft, as everyone did.
Okay, that's like Minecraft, people like to hate on Minecraft, but like even like when I was in
Minecraft is a great game.
it's a great game. Like you do it even when I was in high school, which is like probably 10 years ago now. Fuck, I feel old. It seems crazy that I would. No, okay. So, yeah, no, actually 9 years ago, I ran a server and I had a bunch of people playing. Like that game was fun. You got a good group of people. It's happening. It's happening for real. Are there plans to go pro in League of Legends?
Okay, so in League, here's why I'm playing League, actually. My primary reason is I never think I'll be good enough to go pro. If I do, it'd have to be like over a year from now, because I'm only 15 and you have to be like 17 to compete in any Riot-sponsored events.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
But what I'm hoping is that obviously I don't think anyone would argue that League doesn't really have too big of a chance of dying out anytime soon. And
cool.
so what I'm hoping is that I make it to Diamond, and then I can get some like scholarship money for League, because I'd say it's the safest bet when you're looking for like esports programs at colleges. I'd say that League is probably the safest bet to get yourself scholarship money.
That makes sense.
That's my main plan with League. Like not to go super pro to the point where I'd like be dropping out of like high school or college or anything, but just to get like a scholarship money for it.
You're going for that Division 3 League of Legends playing, right? You're not going for that D1, like maybe D2, like Stevenator, like Division 2 League of Legends.
And I mean, if I do get good enough, then obviously I'll pursue it because there's a lot of money in League. But it's just like, I'm not gonna force getting super good, like super hard. I'd rather just like stay with Brawlhalla, like the game that I'm good at, especially if it blows up. Depending on how it goes in the next few months, I'm gonna make like an educated decision on which game I want to play.
Right.
Aside from that, though, my top 3 game hours on Steam is Brawlhalla, obviously with 2,900, and then
Bravos.
Rainbow Six Siege with like 700 hours, which I play with like Creed and a lot of the BCS crew.
Nice.
And then Terraria with almost 500 hours, which Terraria is actually probably like
Pretty
one of my
good.
favorite games of all time. I love Terraria.
You must have been excited when, 4 years ago, after they had said we're done developing this game, they were like, "Hey, by the way, here's an update that doubles the content." That was a good update.
Eh, I mean, it was a good update, but I'd rather just have Terraria 2 or Terraria Otherworld or any of the other Terraria spin-off slash sequel games that they promised but will never give.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, they kind of have like they got that player base. People love Terraria. It's not going anywhere. Um, it's like Minecraft in that it has that entrenched community of people who it's easy game to pick up with friends and just set that server up and go.
Yeah, super easy, especially now that they have. I mean, I know this was a while ago, but especially now that they have Steam server integration. Because I remember I used to
Nice.
play the game when you would have to get Hamachi and like port forward with your friends to join a Terraria server,
That's
and that
never fun.
sucked.
That always sucks. Um, so you tweeted a little while ago, and this is an old tweet. I don't quite have a date on it. But basically, you ranked the lands you'd been to so far. You had number 1, CEO Dreamland. 2 was BCX 2016, Combo Breaker 2017, then Combo Breaker 2016. Uh, you know, would you reevaluate that now that you've been to a few more lands?
So what I would probably make my list as now. First off, at the very bottom, if you want to like half include it for bonus points, Combo Breaker 2015,
Okay.
which I actually went to Combo Breaker 2015 and played Melee and went 0-2 and then watched Guilty Gear for the entire tournament.
Oh,
And like that was my first discovering of like other fighting games aside from Smash.
dope.
And I mean that tournament obviously I went 0-2. I didn't really do a lot, but it was my first like experience in the FGC and it was actually a lot of fun.
Cool.
And then I think Combo Breaker 2016 would probably stay where it is. Just because, I mean, not a whole lot of stuff happened at that tournament. We just pretty much did the tournament and chilled at the venue and stuff.
Okay.
Me and Starlight getting like 9th in Melee 2s was pretty good as well. After that would probably be a tie between Combo Breaker 2017 and Shine. Because at Combo Breaker 2017, there were some funny stuff that happened. I hung out with the EU guys a lot. We had like a rock paper scissors tournament that ERAM BS'd his way through. It was just a lot more fun since I knew more people and there were more people there, and it was a lot better than Combo Breaker 2016. And the reason that ties with Shine is because at Shine, it'd probably rank higher if I did half okay at Shine, but I got like 23rd.
Right.
But I mean, even outside of the tournament, we went to like Fogo de Chao and an
Fogo was
escape room,
amazing.
and we enjoyed Boston as a whole. So Shine was a good tournament, and then after that, see the conflict. I still think CEO Dreamland is at the top. And
Okay.
here's why:
Okay.
because it birthed like all of the land traditions that I've been doing ever since. That was the first time I
Oh.
ever went to Fogo de Chao.
Okay.
Became a tradition. Just so much. I had no idea what Fogo was before this, and you know what it is, right?
That was me at Shine.
You
Before
just
we went to Fogo, I was like, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, you just go to a steakhouse. For anyone in chat who might not know, you just go to a steakhouse and just eat all the steak you could possibly eat, plus some really good sides. It's super high quality food, super expensive. And so, like, my first time being to Fogo was so good, I couldn't stop craving it afterwards. And we also went to, I want to say, 4 escape rooms in 2 days at CEO Dreamland. And I enjoyed all of those. I
Escape
love
rooms?
escape rooms now.
Okay.
And overall, CEO Dreamland was just a well-organized tournament. I mean, obviously there were like some hiccups in the actual technical stuff. There had to be a rerun tournament, but I placed 9th at that tournament.
Right.
The tournament was still great all throughout. Got to hang out with a bunch of my buds. And then the confliction here. That is a concrete list, but in the middle is BCX 2016 and 2017.
Oh.
And normally I'd put 2017 over it because it was literally bigger, better, and the competition was more fun to watch.
But
I was watching the competition at
oh
2017.
man. Okay.
And it hurt not to be on stage. And during 2016, even though I got second and not first in twos, being up on stage is like a feeling unlike no other, and it's so fun to do. And just like that experience of pretty much being my only good LAN performance can put it on the same level as 2017, even though 2017 was statistically and like everything else wise a better tournament.
All right, that's really cool. Oh, that's kind of a tricky one. So like tied for second is kind of that
Yeah,
BCX
both
pair.
BCXs.
Yeah, damn, dude. That's a tough one. That's tough. Um,
Also, I got to swim at CEO, which is the only LAN I've gotten to swim at so far, and
you could
I
have
love
you
swimming.
could have swum at Shine. You were next to the ocean. Just jump right in.
I love leisurely swimming. I hate actual like swimming, but just chilling in a pool is my
All right.
favorite thing to do ever. I'll chill in like a 60-degree pool, and I have before.
I feel like 60 degrees isn't that
Probably
cold,
not health.
but
Oh,
like maybe it is cold. I feel like it's like a
yeah.
little less than room temperature, like
I
10
don't know.
degrees.
Point is, I like pools.
Heard it here first, folks. Steven Ader, the pool man. They made a movie about that. No, they so in your time playing Brawlhalla, who have been some of the bigger people? I say bigger, like the more influential people you've met. The people who you wouldn't be here today without.
People I wouldn't be here with today without. So like, I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but Daiku, back like when he was EXO, Daiku, I really wanted to join his clan back in the day, which actually led to him making a TeamSpeak that was used for a while in the community, and it was pretty much because I wanted to join the clan. I mean, that's me maybe taking a little more credit than I should. But Daiku also like coached me through a lot of stuff, and he was one of my biggest competitions during probably like my best era
Mm-hmm.
when I was the best, when I was like arguably second best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Doppy, he was like huge competition. It was pretty much us three,
Nice.
that trio, trading off tournaments for a while. Uh, TWK, back when he was the analyst for Boo,
T-dubs.
like super helped me with my mindset and a bunch of stuff. I love TWK. TWK is great.
He's great.
Uh, Pretty much everyone from JV4, namely like Creed, Egg, Stardust, are all great guys. One of like the hardest decisions that I ever had to make was leaving all of my friends in Renacentia and going over to JV4, which we don't do clans too much anymore, not like
No.
as serious as it was. But at the time, like that was absolutely huge for me, and I was super like sad about it. And then I got into the JV4 TeamSpeak, and it was just instant laughs, and they instantly like there will never be a better clan than JV4. We had game nights all the time. We were super good friends. We always hung in the TeamSpeak with each other. JV4
Cool.
was a great clan.
That's
And aside from that, anyone else that I wouldn't be here today without, um, like special shout outs to Noel. I've never really like been friends with Noel, but that doesn't stop him from like giving me advice whenever we spar and like being nice to me at lands and all that good stuff. Noel's
nice.
a super chill guy.
You talked about that TeamSpeak, and one of the things I caught on the streams from BCX was Duke and Sparky talking about a TeamSpeak that Daiku had way back in the day that was basically the reason that they were able to start casting.
Yeah, that's the same TeamSpeak.
It
Yeah,
all goes
yeah.
back.
It was like the Boo TeamSpeak. So what happened was I remember asking, I thought I was super good. I was like, I think I just got diamond, and I was like, "Hey Daiku, can I join your clan?" Or "Hey EXO, can I join your clan?" And he was like, I don't know. I before we accept you, I mean, we'd obviously want to find out what you're like. So let me make a team speak so we can like hang out and whatnot, and sort of like figure out what you're like. And then that birthed the team speak that later became like a community team speak. It had all sorts of 2v2 rooms, like not a lot of people remember that, but that was a sick team speak, and it had caster rooms, and that's where Duke and Sparky probably did their first ever casting.
Cool.
There's a lot of history tied to that team speak.
I would love to hear Duke and Sparky casting for the first time.
There might be VODs,
That would
or at least from early on. Let me see,
that would be
because
incredible.
it would be Friendly Fire 2v2 Brawlhalla. I'm looking it up right
Oh
now.
my god, I'm also taking a note of this because that's
There's a trailer on Duke's channel. That's the most I think I can find.
holy cow, that's incredible. I'm gonna
Oh
dig.
my god.
I'm gonna do some digging for this, Steve, because I I have gone
If you go
back.
watch the trailer,
Yeah,
holy
okay.
crap.
Chat, we're gonna watch this trailer together. Oh boy. All right, let's go to YouTube. You did this on YouTube?
Yeah.
All right.
2v2 Friendly Fire trailer is what it's
Free
called.
Fire 2 Brawlhalla. Trailer. Yo, Duke and Sparky the first time. Brawlhalla ranked 2v. No.
No, it's just called
2v2
2v2 Friendly
friendly.
Fire trailer is what I'm
Yeah.
on right now.
All right.
And that's like the earliest I can find. It has Sparky talking, not necessarily casting.
That's okay. Let's get a listen to this. Check this out. Okay, gotta just give me 1 second to do the audio things, folks.
No, there is Sparky casting.
No, for real?
You'll hear it.
Okay, folks. Check it out. Let's see, monitor only. All right, here we go. We're gonna cut over. Oh, sometimes it transitions to the wrong thing. That's okay. Here you go, transition. All right,
Oh, the casting is so good.
here we go. Yo, the vintage animations though.
Oh god, I'm sorry. I landed on death.
The height music.
Oh my goodness. Old Brawlhalla?
Alright, Spawn's not having that crap. He invented the lasso and he is gone.
It's so good.
I love this.
Alright, so fun fact, I just went to my TeamSpeak and tried to join the old server, but obviously it's down. It said failed to connect the server. But I still have the IP address.
Oh, nice. Should have revived that. Oh my god. It's
Oh, Peter, what are you doing?
it's just Sparky yelling.
You're
much.
president.
That's what casting was.
Do that.
I love it. You got Foda in there, just chilling as well.
Yeah, photo showing as a player probably.
Yeah. Wow, that's a throwback. Oh my goodness.
See, that what you just saw is the Brawlhalla that I wanted to play at BCX. Like, I don't want the PAX build.
You
As
want
funny
that?
as it is, I want that. I want that, which was like the official game before they added any of the tech. That was before fast falling, slide charging, gravity canceling, dashing, chain dodging, speed dodging.
Before
That
any
was,
oh,
that,
anything that's
Jeez.
relevant. Holy cow.
like that is the Brawlhalla that I wanted to play and have people compare against what's now, because we played that competitively. No one played the PAX 2014 build competitively, but we played that hunk of garbage, for lack of a better word. No, that's definitely the best word to use, actually.
Oh,
Like,
man.
retrospectively, that is a pretty much like a hunk of competitive garbage, but we played it anyways. And I don't know, it's just great, dude. I love it.
That's awesome. Dude, that you just like made my week right there with that clip. I'm gonna try and see if I can find a VOD of the actual tournament because oh my goodness, that's fantastic.
If you want a VOD of like my old favorite tournament, there was this tournament called MT10, Mini Tournament 10,
Yeah.
which is which was like the first tournament that I popped off in and like was on stream, where I reverse 3-0'd my real life friend in like semis and then lost to Egg Soup in grand finals.
Oh, dude.
In that tournament, you have like the 180-degree sword dare.
No.
You can walk across the ground while using hammer stomp and walk at the same speed as if you weren't stomping.
Oh my god.
The game is bad.
Oh, or
That was, I think, my third
perfect.
tournament ever.
Oh my goodness, dude. That's crazy. You've done a little casting too. In fact, you even, besides the casting you've done with Brawl League had you do like a Stevenator time on their channel, like a Stevenator stream
stream.
time. You know, like, what do you think? Like, casting is more fun, less fun than playing? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Briefly.
So I've talked about this with my parents as well, because obviously my parents, among like other people, actually think I'm really good at casting, and I embrace that. I think me knowing a lot about the game from being like a previous competitive player is something that not a lot of casters have,
Hmm.
obviously, because most people would rather be players. And unfortunately, I fall in that same vein where I really don't want to cast. Casting is fun, don't get me wrong. I casted a little bit at BCX, in fact, on a side stream,
Nice.
but I'd rather be the competitor than the caster. I think
Totally.
it's my competitive drive will always drive me to want to compete more than just being a community member. So
Yeah.
I'd always rather be a player.
That's cool. One more thing before we open it up for the audience. Audience, chat. If you guys have questions, some of you have dropped some questions and I've been keeping note of them. But if you have anything you'd like to ask Steve, start dropping that into chat now and we'll get to that in a moment. So, you know, you kind of went pro kind of fairly young, right? Your parents, and this is something that's new to me too, right? I was kind of in that in-between generation where
Yeah.
like my generation doesn't really have like esports stars or like we didn't really have that
Yeah.
as much. But so for you, kind of that's a I can't believe I'm saying this. That's like a your generation thing. Have they been supportive? Like, what have they been like? Were they like, do they understand what esports are? Like,
I mean, yeah, at this point, yeah. At the beginning, obviously, you got the classic, like, I was spending a lot of time on my computer, and my dad wanted me to go outside more for just reason, I'd say. But, like, I just kept playing, and eventually, when I became good enough, I could make an argument that I said, hey, I'm really good at this game in the grand scheme of things because I practiced a lot, and I'd like to pursue this. And I started playing in tournaments, and then somewhere along the way, they started watching. And obviously, when I got my first sponsorship with Fable, like that, it became like an official thing. And nowadays, they know what gravity canceling, dashing. They know all the players. My mom has a little cheat sheet that she made at BCX in her phone for all the countries that European and like other players are from. And so they're like super involved with it. And
that's
I don't think
cool.
I wish everyone else had that luxury because I know how lucky I am, but it's still not a thing
Right.
like for everyone. Like my best friend across the street, his parents are like taking away his computer right now and whatnot, and
I
I just
remember
feel
that
so
life.
bad for people who are like restricted, and I don't know, man. I just feel so lucky. I
Dude,
really do.
that's fantastic. I actually really there was an article by the Penny Arcade people about, you know, they did they make games and stuff, video games and stuff like that. They're, you know, some fairly well-known games, but that's besides the point. And there was a blog post where the developer talked about going to his school's PTA and talking about video games and that sort of thing, and kind of just being like, hey, there's, you know, parents like understand that there are like things here beyond what you see. And I think that's a really cool thing because there's definitely a lot of value in that sort of thing. So it's super cool that your parents are kind of there for you. And I love that they have like a cheat sheet of like the players, who they are. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and like even more so than my parents, I think like the part that's still really hard is like people my age, people at my school, because obviously it's still, and I don't know if this will ever change. I hope it will. It's still all about like sports players and like traditional sports,
Yeah.
and video games are relatively frowned upon. And so like getting people to accept that you're like good at a video game is not an easy task. Uh, but I mean, I've slowly made strides in that department, and it's getting a lot better. I mean, obviously, it's kind of like I don't know. It's hard to deal with sometimes having nobody like accept legitimately what you spend all your
Yeah.
time on, and like you know you're good at something, but people don't really accept it as like a legitimate thing.
Thing
And
to be good at. Yeah.
honestly, like in the for my future, like one of the main things I want to do is just push esports forward as a whole, and just like make it so people don't have to deal with that. So people who want to pursue their passions in video games don't have to live with like that
Stigma.
yeah, that stigma behind playing video games rather than like a traditional sport.
That's wicked cool, dude. That's kind of fantastic, and I can totally support you that behind that 100%. And I think It's because of people like you we are making strides where, the Georgia colleges just had like an esports thing recently. I saw a photo tweeting about it. I know that, like you said before, some schools are offering scholarships for
My brother just
league and
set
stuff
up
like that.
an esports program at his school.
That's
He's
awesome.
currently working like he just built a gaming room with like very humble starts, like 12 computers, 12 DX Racer chairs, Razer like accessories, keyboards and stuff, and
Dude,
he's
what
like
up?
very slowly starting up an esports scene at his school. And like I just dream of the day where like we can have a high school or like a middle school league team that competes and that like their school watches them compete. Like just dreaming of that makes me sort of jealous that I couldn't live in a time when that was a thing, but also like hopeful for the future, you know?
Yeah, I mean, with people like you behind it, we could see that happen. And honestly, when I was in high school, StarCraft 2 had just recently come out, and there was the High School Star League, which was a similar. I mean, you didn't really have people outside of your club, but we had a StarCraft club, and we send people out to do these online StarCraft high school league against other high schoolers in the country, in the area. It was pretty cool for a little while. I want to touch base on a couple of these questions that people have been throwing out in chat from way back when, and we'll come back to this parent piece because I think there's a lot there that's super cool, and some people are asking about that. But Kitu Katu asked, "What do you think about the new experimental Twilight Grove slope?" I don't know if I didn't even know there was an experimental Twilight Grove slope by your eyebrow.
Yeah. I
All
think
right.
that I think that was just in the patch notes today. I actually haven't played on it soon, but I actually like current Twilight is real bad and everyone knows about it. Like it's still a fun map to play on and we still pick to it even though just because we like doing sick stuff off the right side platform, but like in theory, Twilight is like a horrible map, so hopefully it fixes some of those issues.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think if you're right, I think that might have been patch notes today. So we'll find out about that soon, I suppose. So here's a question from, where did it go? Here's a question from Bob of the Build, which is actually a fantastic name. And he's asking, how did you convince your parents to go to LANs before you were sponsored and very good at the game?
Well, luckily for me, it was pretty easy to introduce like the concept to them because I think the first LAN they came to me with was Combo Breaker, which is 20-30 minutes away from my house.
That's
So it
helpful.
wasn't really very costly to experience what a LAN is. And I think once they saw how happy it made me to be around my friends and to compete in a scenario like that, I think our first LAN after that was BCX, and obviously, like you had to go to BCX if you were a Brawlhalla player, and I did super well at that. And I mean, from that point on, I think the justification of how happy I was being there and how well I did at BCX sort of worked its way in and made it pretty easy to convince them to go to LANs.
Nice. Cool. Out from Nike Man Boom, he's asking, so Steve, who or what was your first main? I know you played
I'm trying to
Bodvar
remember.
for a while.
That was not my first main. My first mains were Orion and Sir Roland, and I'm talking like first day I started playing the game. I saw Rocket Lance, and Rocket Lance was such a weird weapon.
Still a weird weapon.
Yeah, it's so much different than anything I'd ever seen before. Like you use your momentum in your moves, and I was like, I really want to try to experiment with this. So I played Roland, and I made the worst mistake of my life, which was the first skin I ever bought, which is what I like to call Teletubby Orion. I believe it's called Atomic Orion, and it's sorry, I said the worst skin I ever bought. That was Cat Burglar, sorry. But Atomic Orion was up there. I regretted buying it almost immediately after. But Orion and Roland were actually my first two mains. And after that, obviously, I picked Bodvar and mained him for a long time. There was a competitive period of like my career that not a lot of people know about, which is actually when I played Nye.
I remember you
You can
playing
see some
Nye.
VODs of me playing Nye.
Oh yeah, because you were playing Nye around the time that you were good with Nye, and I was like, oh dude, look at this dude. He's got Nye. He's playing Nye. He's good at Nye. I'm gonna play Nye. I actually had someone who messaged me before we started and said, hey, can you tell Steve that when he was playing Bodvar, he inspired me a lot when I was maining Bodvar, which that's pretty cool. Unique is asking, what do you think? What kind of tweaks should go to fixing canon?
Give me a sec. I'm looking at this Twilight Island right now.
Oh,
What
right.
the heck?
Right?
That is
It's bizarre.
very weird. I'll have to test that myself. But as far as canon, I mean, I literally do not want to touch canon with a 10-foot stick in any competitive manner right now. I just don't understand it.
It's bizarre.
I mean, as far as fix canon, Dare's pretty broken. So probably add like more recovery frames onto it or something on miss. I mean, honestly, it's fine on hit. So, I mean, canon, before you jump to any conclusion saying that it's broken, like, you think that about every new weapon,
Oh yeah.
and sometimes it is in the case of like release bow, which was
That
extremely
was good.
broken.
Yep.
And then I mean, aside from that, just I don't know. Until we really experiment more with canon, we don't know what needs to be fixed or if it even needs to be fixed at all.
Right. I'm with you there. It's the same thing with new legends too, where I'm like, you don't know anything about this legend. It's been like 2 weeks. Like, give him some time. Give him some time.
My rule of thumb for new weapons and legends for what's broken is if you have fun with it the first or second time you play it, it's probably broken. Because you should have to learn it and like have a little bit of frustration. Like the first time I ever played Koji, I had so much fun and I was like, this guy is insanely broken. And then he dominated tournaments for a while and then they had to nerf him really hard.
Yeah. I think there's a piece there that people just like to play broken things. There's like a joy in being
It's
overpowered. Fun. Yeah. Winning is fun.
Exactly.
It's okay to say that. I prepped a couple of clips before the show, and I kind of really want to show them. There's nothing like too exciting. I have you beating LDZ in the Summer Championship, which
good clip.
Which I'm gonna show it right now.
Connected as well.
It's pretty
LDZ
short.
now finding the hammer. The hammer might give him a little bit of a different outcome in this game. That neutral stick could get the confirmation.
That's how most of my sets, like upset sets, end. Just like spamming SIGs. Because Val side SIG on both weapons is super good.
Actually, I'm wrong. It was just a that classic bread and butter downlight side air kind of combo that got it on that one. But that was a pretty cool set. I remember watching that when it happened, and I was like, that's what's up.
I definitely popped off after that set.
You really did. It was
because that was like I had been sort of placing, sort of not placing all season. Like placements, but kind of where I'm supposed to be, not really with any huge upsets aside from like beating Starlight, which obviously we were kind of at the same point. But that was like me stopping the three-peat and like it was sort of putting me, especially in a time where people I think had lost a lot of faith in me. That was a lot higher than what I was expected to place. And even though I don't think LZ played that great, I think that was like really fun and important.
Oh yeah, dude. I also have this clip from the Winter Championship.
I popped off.
You pulled off a Russian Mafia up against Noel to take game 3 in the set.
Russian Mafia!
That's the clip. It's really short, but it was kind of an exciting moment.
Russian Mafia was so broken back then.
Oh, it was.
We all thought it was super cool, but it killed so early. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. And the final thing I have here was from the Stream Me series, which I'm sorry,
I did well in that tourney too.
I didn't watch it really because it was on Stream.me. Like,
I think I got third or fourth that tourney. Actually, I played really well.
But you can catch it here just a little bit. It's you up against Starlight, and this is the final game in your set. Well, you each have one game won.
That's a side sig.
This is the side sig.
I know that's a side sig. For sure.
Yeah, this was definitely the side sig. I got the two clips confused. I really did like the score overlay. I think that's one of my favorite score overlays. It's nice.
I think something that I actually like failed at in relation to this set versus Starlight, like throughout the season, when I beat Starlight here was at the moment that I realized how important analysis and having notes is. And so I actually have like a very outdated 8-page long thing of notes on different players. that, I mean, most of the notes are probably outdated at this point because it like probably says super like certain combos that don't work anymore. But like at the time, that win against Starlight Extreme was on the exact day after a tournament the day before where I lost to Starlight. And then after that, I looked at the set, took notes, and I won the set after that. And I was like, analysis is pretty important.
Basically, what you're saying is you had like a cheat sheet on how to best to approach other players.
Yeah, dude, my page on Starlight is by far the longest. I have
That's awesome.
Like a page and a quarter just of notes on Starlight.
That's really cool, dude. Oh man, that's all. It's really
I need to start using this again. Actually, I kind of left it behind.
Cool. So we're coming up on the end of our time here. I guess my final question, which I'm going to try and ask to everyone who comes on the show, is kind of if someone just picks up the game right now, or someone is struggling, what's like the number one tip you would give to them to improve?
Number one tip is that, like, I'd say just become familiar with the game's movement. That's whatever I tell anyone, regardless of what rank you're stuck at. Like, I think there's always aspects of movement that you can improve it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, even though it sounds kind of self-explanatory, if you have better movement than your opponent, it is harder for them to hit you and easier for you to hit them. Movement is such an important thing because the game doesn't have, like, a whole lot of movement options in comparison to some other fighting games. The faster that you can master how to use those few movement options, stuff like combos that you can grind out, that can come like just with time and just with like quick grinding, but you really have to be focusing on the movement from the very beginning, and I think movement's super important.
Cool. Awesome. Especially now with Dash. So Steve, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Is there anything you'd like to say before we sign off?
Just thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it was fun. I promise to the people who might have been saddened by me saying that I'm retiring, I promise that I'll probably be back in like 4 months, but my current plan is to take a break for 4 or 5 months and not play the game unless I want to.
Yes.
I will not force myself to play the game at all. I will play it only if I actually feel like it. And aside from that, I'll just be taking a break, refreshing my mindset, and hopefully coming back stronger next season.
Cool. Folks, thanks for tuning in. This is Stevenator. Go ahead, give that man a follow on Twitter. He's trying to make it to 1,000. Let's get him to 1,000 if we can. He's almost at 900. 1,000 is when he retires from Twitter and sells it to make the big bucks to the advertising corporations. No, Steve, thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out. Folks, this is Pop Talks. I'm Toast. We'll be back next week, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with another show. All of these shows do, by the way, go onto SoundCloud. I post that to Twitter as well. So if you're going to want to download them, do the whole podcast thing, it's just the audio. That's an option for you too. And as always, thanks for watching and stay crispy.